Okay, so my name is Ahmad Fauzi, and I will explain about definition from translation procedure. So, according to KBBI 2005, procedure is the stage of activities to complete an activity. What is I mean by translation procedure is the stage of activities to complete a translation. The difference between method and procedure is lies in the unit of application. Translation method deals with the whole text, while translation procedure applies to sentences and small language units or textual microunits, such as clause, phrase, word, etc. This from Mashali 2002. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the chance. So, I would like to explain about transposition, or we can call by shifts. Transposition, according to the Catford 1965, is a translation procedure that involves changing the grammatical form from the original to the new one, or from bahasa sumber ke bahasa sasaran. And there are four types of shifts. The first, compulsory and automatic, sharp shifts defined caused by language systems and rules. And there are three ways to do transposition. The first, translation of plural pronomina in English into singular noun in Indonesia. For example, bahasa sumber, a pair of shoes, bahasa sasaran, sepasang sepatu. So like you see here, shoes is plural pronomina in English, and we have to change into sepatu. Is it singular noun in Indonesia? The second way is repetition of adjectives in Indonesia from adverbs describing plural pronoun subjects in English. For example, bahasa sumber, the cars in the showroom are expensive. Bahasa sasaran, mobil di ruang panjang bagus-bagus. So the cars here is a plural pronoun in English, and we change into repetition of adjectives in Indonesia. Is it bagus-bagus? And the last is adjective plus noun becomes noun plus adjective. So this way is just change the position of adjectives in bahasa sumber to bahasa sasaran, and the noun just becomes a noun. For example, bahasa sumber handsome man, bahasa sasaran pria yang tampan. And let's move on to the second types of shifts. So the second is shifts because a grammatical structure in the original does not exist in the new language. The first is the placement of the object in the foreground in Indonesian, which does not exist in the concept of English grammatical structure, except in passive sentences. So the sentence structure remains in the form of ordinary new sentences. For example, bahasa sumber, we must bring the dictionary. Bahasa saran, kamus itu harus kita bawa. So the dictionary become kamus itu. The second, the placement of verbs in the foreground in Indonesia, which is not common in English structures except in imperative sentences. Then the equivalent uses the usual new sentence structure. For example, bahasa sumber, its system has been legalized. Bahasa saran, telah disahkan sistemnya. The third type is shifts for reasons of reasonableness of expression, equivalence bahasa sumber, and natural origin in bahasa sasaran. So the first is the noun or phrase noun in bahasa sumber becomes a verb in bahasa sasaran. For example, to train students for the pursuits is a of an intellectual life. Bahasa sasaran, untuk melatih para siswa mengajar kehidupan intelektualnya. So mengajar is a verb. The second adjective plus nomina or noun or noun phrase in bahasa sumber become nomina plus noun in bahasa sasaran. For example, bahasa sumber electrical engineering, bahasa sasaran teknik listrik atau pelistrikan. The third is clauses in the participle form in bahasa sumber are fully and explicitly stated in bahasa sasaran. For example, bahasa sumber, the document signed by the dean is valid. Bahasa sasaran, naskah yang ditandatangani oleh dekan itu sahih. Yes. The fourth adjective plus nomina or noun becomes noun plus clause. For example, sing bird. Bahasa Sumber sing bird, and bahasa Saran burung yang sedang bernyanyi. So sing becomes yang sedang bernyanyi. The fifth is word plus shifts. So nomina or noun to be verb becomes verb. For example, bahasa Sumber, it's a 45 minutes climb to the mountain from here. Bahasa Saran, butuh 45 menit untuk mendaki gunung itu dari sini. And adjective becomes verb. For example, bahasa Sumber, they are hostily one another. Bahasa Saran, mereka saling bermusuhan atau memusuhi satu sama lain. And finally, the last types of shifts. So, the last types is unit shifts such as the word to praise and praise to close. I often encounter it in the translation of loose words. The first is word to praise. For example, bahasa Sumber proficient. Bahasa Saran sangat mahir melakukan sesuatu. Second, praise to close. For example, bahasa Sumber, the man with black jacket is Mr. Smith. Ke bahasa Saran, laki-laki yang memakai jaket hitam itu Tuan Smith. So, thank you so much. That's all for me. I give it back to the moderator.
Thank you for the moderator. I'm Gustina and I will explain the next material. 2. Modulation. Modulation is a translation strategy that allows for creative adjustment and interpretation in the face of difference between the source language and target language. The percentage of modulation used may be varied depending on the complexity of the text and the linguistic difference between two languages involved. According to Newmark in Marcelli, modulation is divided into two, namely compulsory modulation and free modulation. Mandatory modulation. Part A. The active structure in the source language becomes passive in the target language, and vice versa. In other words, mandatory modulation involves shifting grammatical structure from the active to passive when translation between the source language and the target language. This modulation is necessary when there is no direct equivalence between the two languages. 1. Infinite of purpose in English, the source language. The problem is hard to solve. Target language, masalah itu sukar untuk dipecahkan. In this case, the active structure in English is modulated to passive form Indonesia, adhering to the infinite of purpose contraction. 2. Null passive contraction in Indonesia become active contraction in English. The source language. Laporan itu akan saya sampaikan besok pagi. Target language. I will submit the report tomorrow morning. The null passive contraction in Indonesia is modulated to the active contraction in English, maintaining the intended meaning. Part B. A special word in the source language is translated into general word in the target language. Source language, sociality. The target language, masyarakat, hubungan masyarakat, sosial. Atau hubungan sosialnya. A special word in English, sociality, is modulated into a more generalist term in Indonesia, masyarakat, with the additional note of social tradition. Free modulation. A. Expressing in the whole target source what is implied in the source language. Source language, informal degradation. The target language, penurunan mutu lingkungan free modulation occurs by explicitly expressing in the target language what is implicit in the source language. In this case, environmental degradation is translated to penurunan mutu lingkungan. B. A causal propositional phrase in the source language become a causal clause in the target language. The source language will all suffer from the consequence of the environment degradation. The target language, kita semua menderita karena adanya penurunan mutu lingkungan. A causal prepositional phrase in the source language become a causal clause in the target language, providing a more detailed expression of the cause-effect relationship. C. Positive form in the source language become double negative in the target language. The source language conflict are bound to occur. The target language konflik militer tak urung terjadi, urung tidak jadi. The positive form in the source language is transformed into a double negative form in the target language, maintaining the intended meaning while adapting to the linguistic nuance of the target language. Number 3. Naturalization. Naturalization is a translation procedure that first transfer and adapt the language word into the normal pronunciation, then transfer and adapt it into the normal morphology outward form. For example, the word perform is naturalized into German as performs. Another example in Indonesia is the word estate, which is the result of naturalization from the English word estate. The word police is in Malaysian is naturalized from the English word police. New marked concept of naturalization according to NIDA is called borrowing, which gives an explanation that the English word perform is the borrowed from the German word performance. This opinion is reinforced by Bisfinay and Darbernel 1977, who classify new-mark naturalization into translation procedure. For example, the English word bulldozer is borrowed directly into French as bulldozer. Molina and Albert 2002 classified it into a translation technique called pure borrowing. For example, the English word lobby is directly borrowed purely by Spanish into baby. Well, if the English word meeting becomes the Spanish word meeting, they call it naturalization. This opinion is the same as Newmark. I think that's all from me. I will return it to the moderator.
Okay, so I will explain about contextual conditioning. So the contextual conditioning is the placement information in context so that the meaning is clear to the recipient information. An example of this translation procedure is translation English expression good evening and good night into context Indonesian or vice versa. Good evening context in language English is equivalent to a good evening context for the situation in Indonesia when people meet at night, while the context good night translated into the context good evening for situation when people separated at night, so the translation could be said farewell or good night, which is very different from good night and good evening. Another example is the translation of the English word the Mustang, which requires contextual clarification with the additional word horse, so that the word the Mustang is a type of Mustang horse. Considering the following example, you can see TSU, the Mustang was the fastest in the race. TSA, kuda Mustang itu adalah yang tercepat dalam pertandingan tersebut. So the Mustang horse was the fastest in the race. And the next slide is about noted matching. So noted matching is the translation procedure used if the translator translates an equivalent word or expression the lexical word do not exist in the BSA et al., such as the word sarung, batik, or gado-gado in Indonesia has no equivalent in language in English. So if the translator will translate those words, he must make footnotes or notes. This translation procedure is carried out if the translator carries out the translation ethnographic. Consider the following example. Number 1, TSU. Gerido is traditional musical instrument used by the Aborigines. TSA. Gerido adalah alat musik tradisional yang digunakan oleh orang Aborigin. So the footnotes is the gerido is a musical instrument that looks like a long flute with a curved end and makes a sound like the siren of the departing ocean liner. Example number 2, TSU. Well, it's 10 acres, said George. TSA. Baik, lebarnya 10 acre, said George. So the footnote is 1 acre is approximately equivalent to 1 hectare. And the last example, number 3, TSU. Wati membeli gado-gado kemarin. TSA. Wati bought gado-gado yesterday. So the footnotes is gado-gado is a salad which is eaten with peanut sauce. I think that's all from me. Thank you.